concentrating then. I was like, what's going on there? I was just checking something that someone had emailed me, and yes, it did require a concentration phase. Anyway, we're here. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. The weekend is upon us. Friday the 9th of Friday the 9th of May. Good morning, TikTok. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Hope you are all well, all good. I've just been rattling my way through check-ins. Yeah, I've called this Q&A morning chat. It's not, it's Friday. Anyway, I can't change it now. This should be the old Friday chat. Why? Because Friday is check-in day. So I've been sat here working my way through, lots of different, not lots of different check-ins, through, check-ins basically. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, just been working my way through check-ins. It is manic check-in day today. It's a busy one. I say manic check. Things have evened themselves out a little bit with me. January, I had one crazy, but this seems a really busy. Yeah, this is a really busy one. This is a busy one. Anyway, there we go. Right, let me scan up. Let me do the top 5 in TikTok this morning. As always, guys, this is a Weight Loss Live. If you've got any questions, if I can answer them, I will do my very best to stick your questions into the chat box, and if I get to him and I can answer him, I will do my very best to help you out on your journey. Callum, good morning, mate. You're number 1. Kirsty B is in at number 2. Lou's in at number 3. Amy's in at number 4. And Mama Matt is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Thank you as always for jumping straight to the live. Come in and say hello. Stefan's in. Good morning. Jill, good morning. The jerk chicken look great. Very, very good. We've got today reviewing Aldi's hot honey chicken. Oh, yeah. And we'll have some, I've got a couple of meal ideas coming out for you later on. They seem to do really, really well on the Instagram and Facebook pages. Quick, simple, easy, straightforward meal ideas. But yes, lunch today there is a new, I'm not having this today, but the meal idea I'm thinking is, hot honey is the buzz at the moment, isn't it? Everything seems to be very hot honey orientated, and I mean, honey is amazing. Add honey with a bit of spice in it. For me personally, it's that sweet spicy thing. Yeah, it just works. Anyway, today, hot honey sizzlers in Aldi. 291 calories for half a pack. 291 for half a pack. For 43.5 grams of protein. I'm having them for my dinner. I don't know quite what with yet. I've also got from Aldi, I love the specially selected, pre-made pastas. Like, they used to do a pine nut and summer, and then a truffle. So anyway, they've rejigged them all, possibly for summer, and they've got a goat's cheese and honey pasta. So I'm like, hot honey sizzlers, goat's cheese and honey pasta, honey, oh no, sugar in it, honey. Anyway, you know the drill. Anyway, a meal that not Paddington Bear, what's he called? Who loves honey? Winnie the Pooh. I knew it was a bear in there somewhere. We'll be very happy. Anyway, we've got the hot honey barbecue chicken sizzlers today. They will be reviewed on this week's Worth the Calories, which I'm aiming to get out about 6 p.m. tonight. So a brand new Worth the Calories will be out, as long as I've got time, about 6 p.m. tonight. Jerk chicken was very good. I've also had the Slovakia chicken koftas, and I've also got the Korean chicken koftas as well, which I will be having tomorrow. So there's a full new barbecue range out at Aldi for the summer. I only really tend to review things on Worth the Calories if they are going to be kind of like a bit of a permanent line thing. But I think these are going to be out now till probably September, October time, while it's, certainly be out for May, June, July, August, into September. Hopefully, in their sort of summer, Aldi have done like a summer vibes range. So anyway, we'll, the hot honey sizzlers will be getting tried today. Charlotte, good morning, morning boss, morning Charlotte. Let me scan up. Thanks for the kind words, sir. Not a problem at all, Stefan. Very good check-in as well. Hello from Greece. Hello in Greece, Maria. I hope you're having I don't know if you're on holiday or if you live there, but I hope you're having a good time in Greece. Hi, I just need a quick bit of direction. I do 12,000 steps every day. What activity level do I pick? I would put for that, it depends what are your activity level options. I would put moderately active. I think moderately active, moderately to very active. You know, it's a good level of movement. 12,000 steps a day. You're talking nearly 2 hours of walking a day to achieve that, whichever way you're doing it, whether it's walking around the kitchen, walking up and down your drive, walking around your garden, whether it's walking around your town or your village, walking the dogs, or you're doing it on a treadmill in the gym. It's a decent level of movement. I always seem to be hungry. I exercise gym-wise 3 times a week. Just seem to be ravenous. So if you're like, a lot of people are like, I go to the gym 3 times a week and I'm just always hungry. It's not because you go to the gym 3 times a week. Now, I have no idea if you've got a weight issue or not, or if you're overweight. We have excess energy stored in our body. So if we are going to the gym and burning more calories, your body will use your excess energy if you've got some body fat. So it's a big psychological thing. If you started exercising, I'm more hungry since I've started exercising. It's a bit more of a psychological thing. Don't get me wrong, if you're a professional athlete and you're training 6, 7, 8 hours a day, you're going to be burning a ridiculous amount of calories. But look, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. Anyone that goes to the gym, don't take too much notice of what these say. They're very optimistic. Most people on average burn about 250 calories in a gym. So if you're going to the gym 3 times a week and you're increasing your calorie burn by 750 to maybe 900 calories a week, that's not going to massively increase your appetite, right? So it's kind of a bit more of a psychological thing. If you are on a weight loss journey and you feel constantly hungry, have a look at, first thing to look at is your calories. Is your calorie allowance healthy and sustainable? Because if your calorie allowance is healthy and sustainable, then you shouldn't be feeling constantly hungry, right? If your calorie allowance is healthy and sustainable, but you are getting hunger pangs, yeah, how are you structuring your calories throughout the day? There is a lot of science behind, someone goes, oh, only eat 1 meal a day. No, there's a lot of science that backs up eating little and often will keep your hunger hormones at bay. I don't mean I eat little and often, but I will always eat 4 times a day, right? So I tend to have breakfast and lunch and evening meal and then mid-afternoon snack. That is kind of a little bit of a constant. If I don't have afternoon snack, I'll tend to have tea a bit earlier and then I'll have evening snack. So I generally eat 4 times a day, sometimes 5 times a day, and I structure my calories correctly. So if you've got a healthy and sustainable calorie allowance, you are structuring your calories correctly throughout the day, and most of the time, this doesn't need to be every time, but the majority of the time when you eat something, you make sure it's got a decent amount of protein and a decent amount of fiber in there. That is really going to help keeping, if that's the way you're eating, healthy, sustainable calorie allowance, structuring your calories correctly, and you've got a high protein and high fiber diet, right? That is going to massively help control your appetite. If after that, you get the odd hunger pang here and there, that is going to be a psychological hunger, and it's just something you're going to have to work at controlling. Basically saying no, right? And it really is that, there's always going to be an element on this weight loss journey where there is no sort of little tips and tricks we can put into place with help something. There's always going to be an element of going, yes, I'm sat here now, I'm hungry. I know it's psychological hunger. Why? Because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I had breakfast at 9:30, which was high protein, high fiber. I had lunch at 12:30, which was high protein and high fiber. So and the amounts I ate at breakfast and the amounts I ate at lunch were, yes, I'm in a calorie deficit, but they were decent portion sizes and decent calorie amounts. So there is no physical way, right, I can be hungry at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, an hour and a half after eating 600 calories that was high in protein, high in fiber, and had a decent amount of volume. So why am I hungry at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? It's a psychological hunger. And sometimes with psychological hunger, you've just got to go. And it's very rare. You know, we can distract ourselves from psychological. If you're busy, right? If you're busy in work and you're grafting away, you'll turn around at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and go, bloody hell, have I eaten anything today? Right? Sometimes that can Rach came home yesterday. She was like, I've had 300 calories all day. I was like, what? So I've just been in and out of meetings. She took a lunch. She took a few crackers. She took some couple of Baby Bells and some other cheese. And then she took some celery. You know, she took quite a lot of bits and pieces. And she was like, I've literally eaten my crackers and my cheese, right, today. That's all I've really had time for. And I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's good, because then what Rachel did last night was she calorie chased. She did it within her calories, so she stayed in control. What calorie chasing is, if you don't fuel the body correctly throughout the day, towards the end of the day, when you're getting tired and this, that, and the other, your body goes, I need calories. I burnt X amount. You're not giving it, and you can end up calorie chasing. And it's a lot harder to control your calorie intake at night time when you are tired than it is through the day. So Rachel was calorie chasing last night, but she calorie chased within her calories, which is absolutely fine. But to do that every single day can be quite mentally exhausting. So, but what I'm trying to say there is, she didn't even think about being hungry until I picked her up from work at 5 o'clock last night. Because, like, we went to McDonald's. We didn't go to McDonald's, sorry. We went to Asda, and there was a McDonald's in there. And straight away, Rachel was like, should we grab a Mackey's for tea? She was hungry. And I'm like, no, I said, I'm actually doing burger and chips for tea, but it's in my app. It's tracked. It'll take me half an hour to make when we get home. I'm not having a McDonald's because the volume will be too small for the amount of calories I've got. And then I'll be hungry. And I've been struggling a little bit with hunger this week as well. But and if I said, yeah, let's have a McDonald's, we would have had a McDonald's. We would have enabled each other to have more calories than we were planning on having, less health, obviously, and less volume. So, I'm not saying it's a good thing not to eat all day. But, yeah, psychological hunger, it's just something we need to fight through. But what drives psychological hunger? Well, poor mental health, certain negative emotions, which I suppose is poor mental health, boredom, monotony. So very common if you sat at a desk all day and you don't take a break. If you literally have your lunch and you're back at your desk at 12:30 and you sit there till 4:30 and you've not moved, you've not even gone for a wee or anything like that, your body's going to be like, look, the body's not designed to be sat for 4 hours constant. It just isn't. The body doesn't like that. So your body can then raise your hunger hormones because, I'm not saying we should live like our ancestors, but when a sign of moving about is eating. Now we just move to a fridge. But 10,000 years ago, if your hunger hormones triggered in your body, you'd have had to have gone hunter-gathering and it got you moving about, right? Because when you're sat still, you are vulnerable. And again, we used to just be animals on this planet, the same as cats, birds, this, that, and the other. You have a bird, a cat will never catch a bird that is flying, right? A cat catches a bird that's in the garden that's sort of having a little peck about, or it's on a branch on a tree, right? Because it's still. When you're still, you're vulnerable, right? Humans are no different. We're animals. Yeah, does that kind of make sense? So anyway, yeah, where do we go with that? Oh yeah, structure, psychological hunger. It's always going to be something you have to fight, and it's something you need to learn to control. Callum switched over here so I can put my phone on charge. Clever man. Callum switched over to YouTube from TikTok. Right, let me scan down and see what is going on. Morning, just back from a 5.7k run. Very nice, Paula. Advice on overactive thyroid issues that slow weight loss. I'm very active with sport, but progress is slow. So an overactive thyroid will not slow weight loss, because an overactive thyroid will actually increase your metabolism. It will increase your calorie burn. So an overactive thyroid would promote weight loss. An underactive thyroid might be detrimental to weight loss, but nowhere near as much as we think. So Do you know what? Let me get my little analogy going. I don't think I've got the pen in this office to do my little analogy. I've not done it for ages. Let me tell you. Oh, I can do it here. I've got my pen here. Let me tell you about the old thyroid gland. All right, and this is sort of like the example. That's rubbish. That is rubbish. Hang on 1 second. Let me. This is my thyroid gland. No, it's not Neil. It's a lid to some cod liver oil tablets. No, it is your thyroid gland. Right. So let's talk about our thyroid gland. So your thyroid gland sits in your neck, right? And your thyroid gland is like this, and it regulates your metabolism. So if your thyroid gland you've got no hormone imbalance that affects your thyroid, because that's if you have an underactive or an overactive thyroid, it's down to hormone imbalance. So I'll show you on YouTube. So this is my thyroid gland, right? TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. If you have an underactive thyroid, it is because you have a hormone imbalance. And an underactive thyroid means basically it is going to downregulate your metabolism. It's just going to slow your metabolism down a bit. How much? On average, about 10%. It isn't that much, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If we don't take that into account, especially when calorie counting, yeah, it could have an effect on your weight loss because you'll be eating a certain amount of calories thinking you're in a certain deficit, but you're not. Yeah. Anyway, this is your thyroid gland, right? Underactive thyroid, downregulate by about 10%. So basically, let's say my metabolism is 2,500 calories a day. If for whatever reason I developed an underactive thyroid, my metabolism would be about 2,250 calories a day. So 250 less. Let's say your metabolism is 1,800 calories a day and you've got an underactive thyroid. Your metabolism is now 1,620 calories a day instead of 1,800, right? Yes, it down. Now, if you calculate your calories without taking that into consideration and you're putting yourself into a 3,500 calorie a day deficit, but your metabolism is 180 calories a day, times that by 7, right? So your metabolism is about 1,300 calories a day less than what you think it is. Instead of being in a 3,500 calorie deficit, you're going to be in a 2,200 calorie deficit. Still in a deficit, you're still going to see consistent fat loss. It's just going to be a bit slower than what you would expect it to be. That can be frustrating over time. Frustration is a negative emotion, and in turn, that could trigger emotional eating or could just trigger you falling off your weight loss journey. Yeah. So that is an underactive thyroid. And like I say, it's about 10%. People that go, an underactive thyroid is much more common in females than it is in males, but it can happen male or female. Very, very common to get an underactive thyroid if you are going through the menopause. But like I say, a lot of people think, I've got an underactive thyroid, it just makes weight loss impossible because it turns off my metabolism. No, if you did that, you'd be dead, right? It just downregulates it a little bit. And generally, the main effect of an underactive thyroid, so you're like, right, so I burn 100, yeah, you're still burning calories through brain function, through heart function. What most people tend to get with an underactive thyroid is a bit of fatigue, right? That's how it kind of slows your metabolism down. Your energy levels are a little bit lower. That's it. There are things we can do, though, to improve those energy levels. I'll tell you shortly. Overactive thyroid, like Rude just said there, it will increase your metabolism. So my metabolism is 2,500 calories a day. If I developed an overactive thyroid, my metabolism would be 2,750 calories a day. So instead of burning 10% less calories, which would be 1,750 less over a week, I'm actually going to burn 1,750. So that's why I say it promotes weight loss, because if you work out your calories and you put yourself into a 3,500 calorie deficit, but you don't take into account your overactive thyroid, for someone like me, I'd actually end up being in an over 5,000 calorie deficit. Yeah. So underactive slows the metabolism down a little bit. Overactive speeds it up. Overactive thyroid, nothing really we need to go into. You'll tend to find people with an overactive thyroid will have more energy levels. They will be a little bit more hyper, right? And there's nothing we need to look into to counterbalance it. Take it as a bonus and enjoy the extra calorie burn to help with your weight loss journey. Underactive thyroid, like I say, the main issue with it tends to be energy levels. So how do we increase energy levels, or how do we maybe counterbalance that slight loss of calorie burn so we can still put ourselves into a nice, healthy, sustainable calorie allowance? High protein diet, really important with it. I promote a high protein diet anyway, right? But do I have? I've seen in my community group the other day some people saying I aim for about 70, 80 grams of protein a day. Some people say I aim for 100 grams of protein a day. If you have an underactive thyroid, it is imperative you aim for a high protein diet. 95% of the times when you eat something, it should have a good source of protein in there. So if you've got an underactive thyroid and you're eating crumpets or toast every day for your breakfast, you need to swap that out for some sort of yogurt bowl or protein porridge. Or if you're going to have toast, make sure you're having something like a protein shake alongside it, all right, to get the protein in. Protein has a high thermic effect and it actually bumps your metabolism up a little bit. Yeah. Other things that we can do, healthier diet, right? Again, you can eat whatever calories you want. Your calorie makeup, calorie, whatever your calories can be made up of whatever you want, right? And you'll lose weight if you're sticking to a calorie deficit. But the healthier your calories are, the easier it is to control your calorie intake. But the healthier your calories are, the better your body will perform. Also, the healthier your calories are, the more energy you will have, the more vitamins, minerals, nutrients you're getting into the body. So that will kind of counterbalance, again, help counterbalance a little bit of calorie burn loss through the underactive thyroid, but it'll also help to counterbalance if you have lower energy levels. The healthier you eat, so many people complain about having low energy levels, but they have very poor diet, right? And that is a big contributing factor to low energy levels. Other contributing factors to low energy levels is lack of movement. The more you move, the more energy your body generates. I always use the analogy of a wind turbine. Slow wind turbine, just a little breeze through the valley, your wind turbine's doing that. It ain't generating much electric. Well, that's you doing, being very sedentary. Yeah. Big gusts of wind through the valley, and the wind turbine's doing that, generating loads of electric. Right. Now, at the start, if you've got low energy levels and a serious lack of movement, at the start, that's going to be very, very tough. It's very hard to motivate ourselves to move more, maybe do some regular exercise as well when our energy levels are low. But you've got to grit your teeth, you've got to get at it. And the more consistent you are with increasing your daily movement, steps, and if you can add a bit of exercise in as well, over time, and it won't take much time, 6-8 weeks, your energy levels will start to improve in your body. A lot of people always ask me, I went in the gym the other morning and it was like 20-7 or something like that. This was actually last week, not this week. And the guy, the fitness instructor in the gym, like, "Hey, mate, you all right?" I was like, "Oh, you're very chipper this morning." I'm very chipper every morning. He was like, "Oh, and I wasn't, and I'm not saying, and I'm like, it's just who I am. I'm always got plenty of pep in my step. And it's the way I live my lifestyle, When I was 37 stone, I had zero pep in my step because I used to do 1,000, 1,500 calories a day. I did zero exercise and I had the worst diet in the world. So you've got to if you want your body to support you, you've got to support your body. Yeah. Right. Let me scan on. I think we've done enough on thyroid gland there. Right. Let me. So I'm missing Anna. Good morning. Hope you're good. Scratch that. I have a train to catch. Flip that on. Stefan's off what he's doing. I'm getting a nice full Irish breakfast now. Oh, are you? Oh, no, he's not. He's off to catch a train. Right. Okay. Right. Let me scan down. Carol, good morning. Adding protein powder has been a game changer. It stopped my food noise because I'm so satisfied. 100% high protein diet. So one of the big advantages of Mounjaro is, or any weight loss injections, to be honest with you, two big advantages. Well, it's kind of a knock-on effect. It's a domino effect. So for weight loss, what a weight loss injection does is it slows down the digestion of food. When we slow down the digestion of food, it means food is sat in our system, certainly in our stomach, which generates our hunger hormones, longer, right? And the longer it sits in our stomach, the less hungry we are going to feel. If you feel full down here, that massively helps to control psychological hunger, right? So now we can naturally slow down the digestion of food. We don't need to use a weight loss injection. We can do that through a high protein diet and a high fiber diet, right? I recommend doing both of those things, right? So if every time you eat, you structure your calories correctly, and every time you eat, you have a high amount of protein and a high amount of fiber, you will naturally suppress your appetite physically and psychologically. Is it a lot harder to plan, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Is it a lot harder to sit there and plan your eating, structure your eating, make sure that every time you eat something, it's got protein, it's got fiber in it? Yeah, than just taking an injection? Of course it is, right? It is. You've got to constantly think about what you're eating, have a look at that. That's part of it, right? But if you do that, you will naturally suppress your appetite. And as Claire just said there, adding protein powder, which is such protein powders, protein shakes. You can add it to your yogurt. You can add it to your porridge in the morning. You can have a shake with your lunch. You can have a shake mid-afternoon. It is such a quick, easy, convenient, and cost-effective way to increase the protein in your diet for not very many calories. And if you can do that and you can be consistent with that, it'll do to everyone what it's doing to Claire there. So she's put, adding protein powder has been a game changer. It stopped my food noise because I'm so satisfied. Absolutely. And a high protein diet will do that for anyone. I'm not saying you just need to eat protein shakes. You get your protein from anywhere. But, but yeah, it's just, it is a game changer because, like I say, if you're having yogurt in the morning, bang, add a scoop of protein powder to it. There's protein in yogurt. Add a scoop of protein powder. You've got a very high protein yogurt, right? Likewise, like I just said there, if you want a couple of crumpets for your breakfast, nothing wrong with that. I love a crumpet, right? Who doesn't love a bit of crumpet, right? But you get a couple of crumpets, right? They're going to digest very, very quickly. Within an hour, you're going to be hungry. But if you have your two crumpets at 200 calories or 270, 80 calories with butter on, right? And then you add 150 calorie protein shake alongside, right? That protein will mix with the carbs. It'll massively slow down the digestion of the carbs. So rather than crumpets digesting in 45 minutes to an hour, being out of your system and you being hungry again, right? Adding that protein shake alongside the crumpets, they're probably going to take 2 to 2.5 hours to digest and move through your system. Slow release of energy, slow digestion of food, the more satisfied you will feel. Yeah. Really appreciate that advice, boss man. You are more than welcome. Let me scan up. Josh, morning, Neil. Good morning, mate. Oh, you're good. I never seem to hungry anymore. Is that because I have a smaller belly? Yeah, it can be. Look, there can be a lot of different reasons why. I mean, maybe convincing yourself you don't seem to. You should always get hungry, right? So, like when it's coming up to tea time, I'm hungry, I'm ready to eat something, right? I think what Stefan means there is I never feel like overly hungry anymore, or I never have hunger pangs when I shouldn't have hunger pangs. And that is kind of where we need to get to. Everyone should be hungry, right? This morning, I've got up, I've gone to the gym, I've trained, I've come home we got home for about 9:10. I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry, and I should be, right? And now, like I say, I'm not saying I'm hungry because I've trained, but I always like to eat after training. But the last thing I ate was about 6:30 last night, right? Which was my burger and chips. So I've not eaten from 6:30 last night to nearly 9:30 this morning, right? That is a 15-hour fast. Right? I'm not fasting, by the way, but I've had my break fast at 9:30 this morning. So if I've not eaten for 15 hours, even though I've been asleep for 7 of those, I'm going to be hungry, right? That just is what it is. That is natural hunger. You should feel that. I've had my breakfast, I'm absolutely fine. Yeah. I'm also getting nice and hydrated, which helps with the suppression of hunger as well. And I'll be fine. I'm at breakfast at 9:30, and I will be tucking into my lunch at about 12:30, 3 hour gap. From 12:30, I will probably have something mid-afternoony as a snack, maybe about 3 o'clock, or we'll have an early tea at 5 o'clock, right? One or the other. But whatever I eat for lunch, that will keep me going till I either have an afternoon snack at 3:30. If I have my afternoon snack at 3:30, I'll have my tea at 6:30, 7ish, like I did last night, and then I won't eat again today, probably. If I have my tea at 5, so about 4.5 hours after I've had my lunch, then I probably will eat something at about 9 o'clock tonight. I might have a protein bar or something like that. I am going to have an afternoon snack, actually. I'm going to have some fruit today. Been a bit low on the fruit intake, and fruit is fantastic. Very low calorie, lots of volume. I've bought some golden kiwis, got some strawberries, and I've got some mango. So I'm going to do myself a little strawberry golden kiwi mango fruit salad this afternoon. That is what we're going to be on, you know. But yes, as we lose weight, does our stomach shrink? Yes. Does that have an effect on like overall hunger? Not massively. Our stomach shrinking has an effect on us feeling fuller sooner when we are actually eating food. But generally, you know, as we go along on this weight loss journey, we should be learning to control our appetite, right? That's part of the journey. And if you are saying no to psychological hunger, fueling the body correctly, eating better, you know, you'll learn to control your calorie intake better, you know. Hey boss, United. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing last night. It was so good. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock a little bit. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in Europe. We're absolutely superb in Europe this season, and absolutely the worst team in the world in the league. In fact, I can definitely see us winning the Europa League, but finishing 17th, just above the relegation spots. Not that we're going to get relegated because the team's already been relegated in the Premier League. I bet that has never ever been done before, where someone's won a European trophy and finished one spot above the Europe. But anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully things will be better next season. Currently 18.5 stone, still was 27. It's a great weight loss. Absolutely fantastic weight loss, you know. That's amazing. I've been stressing me out not knowing what to pick. Never get stressed out. Never get stressed out. There's no need. There really is no need. Right. Stress is a negative emotion that can lead to big emotional eating, you know. Can you look at my YouTube chat if you haven't already? Emma, I was just getting to it. Emma's multitasking. She's on the tube. She's on Facebook. Right, let's go through Emma's YouTube chat. Hello. Tips to increase protein when you have slow gastric motility. What's motility? Lighter on the stomach protein sources. Okay. I'm recommended 120 grams, but can't get past 80 grams at the moment. Emma, that is so subjective. It would be very, very hard for me to suggest what I would class as light protein sources because everyone is different, right? Everyone is different. So, yeah, you know, what I would class as a light protein source, like I class a protein shake as a really light protein source. Some people might be like, oh no, I can't have protein shakes. I find they sit very heavy on my stomach. So it's a really, really tough question to answer. I would probably say like fish is probably, you know, in terms of density and how it's structured, I would say fish would be a lot lighter than something like meat, right? Than like your chicken or your steak. So I don't know if you like any sort of white fish or prawns or tin tuna, maybe something to go down. I would think, you know, certain ways that you maybe cook eggs. So, for example, I think scrambled egg is really, really light. Whereas like a hard boiled egg I always find quite claggy when I'm eating them. So maybe that's something to look at. You can go down the front of something like, if you like, protein drinks like Clearway Isolate Protein is more like a cordial than it is a protein shake. So you might find that a bit easier. And when you say light, I assume you are meaning like easy to digest. Protein's protein. It will digest. It all kind of has the same thermic effect. So it'll all kind of move from your stomach into your uh, intestine in like, in the same sort of way. So I think, Emma, it's just a little bit. It means food moves through my digestive system slower. So protein moves through our digestive system slower. So feel full extra long, which is absolutely fine. What is the reason why you need to have 120 grams a day? Like, what is the reason for that? If you're like, well, that's what a personal trainer has told me I need to have. Don't, just stick with your 80 grams a day, right? You don't need to, unless you're trying to be like, if you're going to the gym and you're training and you're working with someone and you're trying to get a great big sort of muscular physique, right? If whether you eat 80 grams of protein a day or 120, it isn't actually going to make that much difference. So don't push. If you'll find it very uncomfortable to try and eat ridiculous amounts of protein, then, you don't need to push that much. You think apple cider vinegar does anything to suppress appetite? Nope, does absolutely nothing. Zero. Absolutely zero. Loads of people, there was a trend maybe 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago on TikTok, everyone selling apple cider vinegar gummies for weight loss. I'll tell you what apple cider vinegar gummies do for weight loss. F all. Absolutely nothing. Anything acid-based can be quite good to aid digestion. So a lot of people have things like fermented, like kombuchas or sauerkraut or kimchi in terms of like Korean sort of foods and stuff like that. Very, very good for digestion. And it can promote, it can improve gut health and things like that. But improving gut health won't have any, once food's in your gut, where natural appetite suppression happens is in your stomach moving into your small intestine, right? I don't know why I'm moving things left to right. Everything goes down. I always do that. I think it's because it's like moving along. But basically, stuff hits your stomach, right? And it then moves into your small intestine and then moves into your large intestine and then comes out the other end, basically. Thanks for the protein advice. Just need a filling breakfast without resorting to bread. Why can't you resort to bread? Now, don't get me wrong. I get like why bread might not be filling, but like I've just said there, do you know what? One of my favorite high protein breakfasts that I love is a bacon sandwich. You might like bacon sandwich. They're on a weight loss. Yeah, bacon sandwich. Right, 2 slices of bread. If you want to watch the calories, go for medium bread rather than thick bread. If you go 2 slices of medium bread, you're at 160 calories, right? If you then go for 4 grilled bacon medallions, you're at 160 calories, right? So let me go on to my NutriCheck here and I'll tell you exactly what it is, even with a bit of butter on. Like, by the way, lots of high protein ideas, breakfast ideas in my on my YouTube channel. Lots of recipes there. So let's say we went for medium 50-50. Let's not go wholemeal. Let's not go white. Let's go 50-50. So Kingsmill medium 50-50 bread, right? 2 slices of that is 188 calories, 7.5 grams of protein, 3.7 grams of fiber. If you then add into that some bacon medallions, right? So basically bacon with all the fat cut off. We'll go Tesco. Sorry, Aldi. You know me, I like my Aldi. Right, let's go for 4 bacon medallions. Right, that's in there. 135 calories. Let's go butter. Just butter one side, right? If you're going to butter bread when a bacon sandwich, butter one side. Do not butter the side where the sauce is. There's no need. Wasted calories. Salted butter. Let's say we have 5 grams of salted butter, right? For 37 calories. And then we're going to have 10 grams of ketchup. And we're going to use Heinz reduced 50% less sugar and salt ketchup, right? 15 grams, tablespoon of that, right? 370 calories, 34 grams of protein, 3.7 grams of fiber. Belting. High protein, reasonable amount of fiber, tastes sensational. What is the only issue with having that? Where could the issue lie with having that bacon sandwich for breakfast? The volume is quite small, right? You've got two slices of medium bread, which is going to be about 70 grams, maybe. 4 bacon medallions, which is going to be around about the same, maybe a little bit more, 80 grams. Bit of sauce for that. You're only going to be at 200 grams of food. So if I was going to have that as my breakfast, I would then have some sort of fruit alongside it. Apple, orange, couple of apples, or maybe even an apple and a banana or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, let me scan up. But you can have a bacon sandwich on a weight loss journey. You genuinely can. But yeah, in terms of Emma's issue with food, that look, at the end of the day, protein is always going to slow down the digestion of food. If you have slow digestion of food anyway, then protein is just going to add to that. If that keeps you fuller for longer, in all honesty, as long as it doesn't cause any other health issues, that is just a bonus to weight loss because it's going to help you really control your calories. In terms of other certain protein sources that digest quicker than others, protein's protein, it will all digest at roughly the same speed. Bread, pitas, wraps, flatbreads, love it all, 100%. Carbs are life. Carbs are absolute life. I eat carbohydrates in various formats with every single meal. Every single meal, whether it's rice or bread or potatoes or fruits or veggies or pasta or quinoa or whatever. Carbs are life. They always will be. I had a protein bagel with egg and bacon for brunch. Sounds very, very... I'm not a massive fan of protein bagel. The best protein bagel I've had recently is the New York Bakery Company Protein Boost Bagel. I'm not really into like the Aldi ones. I think they're a bit cardboardy. But the New York Bakery Protein Boost Bagels, 4 for £1 on Club Card. They might be a bit dearer now, but that's what they were when I got them. In fact, they weren't even... I actually got them from the Whoopsie section with a yellow sticker on for 80p for 4. Great bagel. Really, really good. 200 calories, over 10 grams of protein. And again, if I swapped out the 2 slices of Kingsmill bread, right, and then put in that protein boost bagel, here we go. So if I swapped out the Kingsmill bread and had protein boost bagel with 4 bacon medallions, bit of butter, and some Tommy K, 384 calories, 37 grams of protein, 4.4 grams of fiber. Decent. I like to say maybe have an apple and an orange alongside it just to bump the volume up a little bit. Yeah, the Aldi ones, they are awful, Karen. I will totally agree with you there. Yeah, Aldi. I'm not a massive fan of bagel thins anyway. Love sandwich thins. I just think bagels should be squishy on the inside and chewy on the outside. And I just don't think you can do that with a bagel. There's just certain things that just don't quite work, trying to make them a bit more calorie controlled, as it were. Right, let me have a scan down. I won't say bread to evening as it's an easy choice without thinking. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So, breakfast for me, I tend to rotate. I'm into my yogurt bowls for breakfast at the moment. I could quite easily switch that to overnight oats. And in fact, my yogurt bowls that I make, obviously it's going to increase the calories a little bit, but I could, as long as I made them the night before, I could quite easily mix 30 grams of oats into the yogurt bowls that I make and leave them, and that'd add some carbs to my breakfast. I also like my protein porridge. I do think that's more. We do structure our eating habits around seasons, don't we? Bought a bloody roast chicken. I don't. Rachel does. Like, I would have chicken dinner tonight. Yes, it's meant to be 22 degrees here today in the heat of the day, nice and warm. And I said to Rachel, I've got roast chicken. I've got chicken in the fridge. I want to do roast chicken dinner. And she was like, oh, no, it's too warm. So anyway, I'm gonna flip it into a salad. So we're gonna have a roast chicken salad. We're gonna have roast chicken. I've got a Caesar salad kit. I'm gonna also put some onion in there as well. I don't think I've got any red onion, so I might have to go white onion. A little bit harsh, but that's what we're going to go for. So we're going to stick some white onion in there as well, and then I'm going to do some roast chicken, some chopped up bacon medallions, some chopped up gherkins, right? Maybe some pink pickled onions as well, just to add something a little bit different. Or I might actually skip the white onion and just do some pickled onions and some gherkins. Get the pickles in, again, very good for gut health. And then chicken, bacon, and 100 grams of sweet potato fries scattered on top. Little drizzle of sauce. And we'll see where we're at with that one. In fact, I need to track that. I have cereal with my yogurt bowls. Can't do milky cereal. I absolutely love it. I've not had cereal for ages, and I just was rooting through my cupboards, and I found a box. So I need to order some more. Actually, I do love cereal. I do like it as cereal. To be honest, I do like it as cereal. But yeah, it's really, really good. That's a proper summer dinner. Love it. Brilliant, Lucy. I'm doing homemade Balti tonight. Oh, I love a curry. We went out last week in Spain Friday night. Last Friday night, exactly a week ago today. We went to a restaurant in Fuengirola called Bollywood, Indian restaurant. Absolute top tier it was. I had a tandoori. I had 3 poppadoms to start, all the chutneys. Tandoori mixed grill, white rice, masala sauce, and we got a garlic naan to share. Absolutely amazing. Delicious. Really, really good. The best bagels, Costco. Costco bagels are just top tier, another level. They really, really are. What time we are? Guys, I'm going in 5 minutes. We've been talking a lot about food, and I am hungry. I'm a hungry chap sat here talking about food. I wasn't hungry till we started talking about it, but I'm going to go. I'm not actually that hungry, but I do need to do. I'm going to have the hot honey chicken sizzlers. I'm going to have them for lunch. Don't know what with yet. Don't know what with. Like I say, the meal idea I'm going to put on the old TikToks is what's the meal idea I'm going to put on the old TikToks? The meal idea I'm going to put on the old TikToks is the hot honey sizzlers with the honey and goat's cheese pasta with some tender stem broccoli. I think that'll work very, very nice. Under 600 calories, lots of protein, lots of fiber, decent volume, reasonably good volume. I think, I don't know what rice I've got. I might do the hot honey. I did the jerk chicken yesterday, so I did just white rice, broccoli, sweet corn, and then chopped up the jerk chicken and put that on. I might do that for my lunch, but instead of obviously jerk chicken, we're gonna have hot honey barbecue chicken with the hot honey drizzle over the top. I think that'll work. That's what we might be going for. We start talking about food now. I know it does. We're talking about psychological hunger. When you talk about food, it makes you feel hungry. It really, really does. Hi, James. Good morning, James. Hope you are good, my man. I don't have a clue as I'm at the parents for the weekend, so dinner is a surprise. Very, very nice. Nice to get cooked for. I go Spain in 4 weeks. First holiday in 8 years. Can't wait. Lucy, 8 years. Wow, that is a long time to go on holiday. I was going to say, was that because of COVID? But that's like 3 years before COVID, isn't it? Have an amazing time. I saw on your Instagram story the other day, Lucy, you're doing fantastic on your journey. So keep it up. It is amazing to see. Really, really is. And enjoy Spain. I go to Spain 6 weeks tomorrow. I know I've just been to Spain. I'm going 6 weeks tomorrow. Can't wait. Taking my niece on her first ever holiday. So that's going to make it a bit more kind of special. So that is my focus at the moment. All eyes are on the prize. Then we're back after that for 3 months. It'll be 3 months until the next trip away. Hard life, I know. And the next one will be October. There was a chance I was going to go to Magaluf next week. There still is a chance of going to Magaluf next week, but I'm not. I'm convincing myself not to go. Rachel's cousin, Alison, it is her husband. He's a good friend of mine. It's his 40th, and he's going to Magaluf with some friends. Well, Rachel, they only had a baby a couple of months ago. So Rachel is going next weekend to stay with Alison to help her out because Andrew's away in Magaluf, and he's been pecking my head. Come to Magaluf. Why aren't you coming in? And I said no originally because I went to Spain last weekend. Anyway, he's pecking me head. Come to Magaluf. There's a spare room in one of the. You don't even need to pay for the hotel. There's a spare bed in one of the hotel rooms that we've got. And he said, just get a flight. I'm like, no, it's not happening. Stop tempting me. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Lucy. Not a problem at all. Is it true that sometimes you're not hungry, just thirsty? That is true, actually. Yeah. A lot of people. So your body doesn't really know the difference between being hungry and thirsty. And when you are thirsty, your hunger hormones can be awakened, and it's basically, obviously if you've got a dry mouth, you're thirsty, aren't you? But if your body feels dehydrated or you've not took enough liquids in, so if you guys are rubbish at drinking water, rubbish at hydrating the body, and you feel constantly hungry, that can be a contributing factor. I'm not saying it is the biggest contributing factor, but our hunger hormone ghrelin can be released when we're hungry, but it can also be released when we are thirsty. And, water doesn't cause fat loss. It doesn't cause weight loss, right? It generally doesn't. A lot of people think it does. It doesn't. But it is a tool, because if you are hydrated, the less chance of your hunger hormones being triggered. I'm literally going to get this down me before I have lunch. So I've had one. This morning I've had an energy drink, 500 mils of fluid. I've also had a bottle of this in the gym, so that's a litre of fluid. I've just drunk this now, so I'm on 1.5 litres of fluid. I'm going to drink this before I have lunch. So when I have my lunch today, I'm going to have a litre of water at least knocking about in my body. That takes up space in the stomach until it comes through. Yeah, so that'll take up space in the stomach until it obviously moves through my system and moves through my kidneys and then into my bladder, and I pee it out. So water can take up space in the stomach when you're eating. Certainly if you sort of drink within half an hour of eating. And it can keep your hunger hormones at bay. Absolutely. One life, boss. Go on that holiday. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, but honestly, yes, it's not like if I was sat here now and I've not been away for a year or this year, I would be going. But I've just been to Spain last week, and the thing is, if it was just going for 2 days and a bit of sunshine, I'd go. But it's going to be extreme. I've just had a boozy 4 days. I don't want it. I generally don't want it. Plus finances. I've just spent X amount of money last weekend being in Fuengirola. So, I don't want to spend the money. And I don't want a boozy weekend. The draw, but I say the draw. The draw is like, go to Spain, lovely, bit of sunbathing, or just having a few beers in the sunshine is amazing. Up to the weather forecast, what's going on? It's literally given here on the Fylde coast in Lancashire, like between from now until a week on Tuesday, and I know it can all change, it is literally given between 21 and 24 every day. Sunshine. I'm like, I don't need to go to Magaluf for a bit of sunshine and a couple of beers. I can do it in my back garden if I want it. So, that sort of. No, I'm being good. I'm being good. I'm staying strong. I'm staying strong. Right, that's it. I said I was going at 12. It is 2 minutes past 12. Guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your. I say enjoy the rest of your Friday. I am going to do a sign off live later, like a weekend. I don't do it live Saturday morning anymore. So I'm trying to do one on a Friday afternoon, Friday tea time. Right, that's me. I'm done for the weekend. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. So I'm aiming to be on that live at about 4:30ish. About 4:30, unless something massively crops up. So 4:30, maybe 4:45. we'll jump on, and it will be half an hour to 45 minutes. So if I get on about 4:30, I'll finish about 5:15. If I get on about 4:45, I'll finish at 5:30 or something like that. So if you are free, and it will be TikTok, it will be Facebook, it will be YouTube, I will be jumping on and saying hello in about 4.5 hours time. So if you're free, I will see you then. If not, that is me done on lives until Monday morning. I'll be back Monday morning. We'll be back into a routine. It was bank holiday. So we've got this week, next week, then another bank holiday, I think. It's not next week, is it? So we've got this week, next week, then another bank holiday. Lives as normal next week. So what are we doing? 8:30 Monday morning if I don't see you. But hopefully I'll see you late afternoon-ish around tea time today for a little weekend sign off. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And if I don't see you, have a great weekend. And I'll see you Sunday. Sunday, no. I won't. I'll see you Monday, TikTok. And same to you, lovely people over here on Facebook and the tube. If you're if you're about later on in about 4 maybe 5 hours time, something like that, I will hopefully see you. If I don't see you in 4 to 5 hours time, I'll be back here 8:30 a.m. Monday morning, New Weight Loss Week live. So if I don't see you, have a great weekend.